Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Arena Cobra Ultra Swipe goggles. And this is the season review, as I've had these goggles for nearly 2 years. I got them back in May 2019. And at first I used them for only racing, really. I used to use a lot of speedo goggles just for added comfort, because that's what I enjoyed using during training, and I thought these might be a bit too tight for regular use and like leave too big goggle marks. But over time I found that as I started to use them more in training, they were actually really comfortable, and they're a really good pair of training and racing goggles. So I now use these goggles for practically everything. They're barely damaged, they're still in great condition, and the hydrodynamic design works really well for some fast times and improving your PBs. So when you try the goggles on, they've got a really nice low profile, and they're really close to just being flat with the rest of your face. So there's no drag or resistance, but it's still, the cushioning's perfect because it doesn't push into your eyes too much. So when you're swimming, in training, or even in a race, if you don't have to push them down to ensure a water seal. It's already got a very nice one with the cushioning. And at the same time, even with the low profile, you'd think that if you have super long eyelashes, it's going to really press up against the lenses of the goggles. But usually I find, as long as you're not really pushing down hard on them, your eyelashes don't seem to get stuck, or if they do, it's only the very tip. So it's still a comfortable fit, and you can still swim easily without noticing it that much in training or in a race. The lens itself is really nice and wide, so it gives you a lot of vision. You can see all the way around here and really far up and down, so when you're swimming you can see into the lanes next to you. And the fog actually works surprisingly well, so sometimes during training, about maybe 1 or 2 hours in, I'll obviously have to clean it, and you can swipe it with your fingers, and then the anti-fog's activated again, and it actually works really well because I use these in morning training and afternoon training, and because it's got the slightly brighter mirrored tint, you can see through it really well even when it's dark, so you can still see the wall quite far away in the mornings. And then in the afternoon it's not too bright with the sun and everything glaring down at you. The mirror works really well, so then you can still see into the sky. Let's get to some underwater filming of these goggles in action. As you can see, I'm pushing off the walls with a lot of speed, and the goggles aren't moving at all. They're really comfy fit, and no matter how hard you swim or shake your head about, they just barely wiggle at all. They're just super stable. And I'm not even wearing a cap, so you can wear these over a cap in a race when you dive in, or you can just dive in without a cap in training, and they're just not going to move around. The hydrodynamic design works perfectly. So in 2021, are these still one of the best goggles that you can find on the swimming market? And the short answer is yes. The hydrodynamic design was really revolutionary when it came out, and it still is now. There's not really any major improvements since then. They're still really, really good for wearing for a race or even in training. It gives you the sense of comfort that your goggles aren't going to come off when you dive in, because they're just that stable. You can wear them under your cap, over your cap, it doesn't matter, they're never going to come off. And I just really enjoy using these in training and just in general. They're a very good pair of goggles. They make you feel fast, and they've got really nice colours and designs that you can pick from. Now, let's get into how you can clean and store them in day-to-day use. Sometimes after using your goggles for a super long time, like maybe even over a year, like I have, you can begin to notice that there's a build-up of almost mold on the cushioning, or even just a bit of mold inside the actual lens. So I'm also going to show you an easy way that you can clean your goggles and the cushions. So I'll show you an easy way that you can clean the lenses and the cushion without damaging anything. First step I do is rinse it with cold water. as this is just an easier way because it's not chlorine, which is usually what can leave marks and damage the goggles over time. So clean, cold water, and then just gently swiping your finger around the goggles to remove all the muck and any mold on it. And it can also be useful to do this on silicone strap as well, just rinsing all of your goggles in the water, because it's completely different to the chlorine in the pool. And if you have a pool with a lot of chlorine, or even the salt, if you go in the sea with your goggles, or you go in a salt pool, sometimes you can get some dried out salt in your goggles, which it doesn't look nice and it doesn't feel nice when you wear them. So there you go, after only about 1 minute of rinsing my goggles with cold water, you can see that the cushioning and the goggles themselves are a lot cleaner. They're almost as good as new. Now if you want to go one step further, or you still have a bit of mold around the edges of your lens, you can just use your finger and the edge of your nail around the end very gently, and then try and just scrape out some of the mold, if there's any there, any dried up salt. You want to be careful not to actually scratch the lens itself. So you don't want to apply too much pressure. This is an easier method than using a sponge, because a sponge sometimes can be a bit too sharp and it can easily scratch the insides, and then when any light shines on your goggles or when you're wearing them, you can really notice scratches. So this is like a careful method for keeping the lenses super slick and clean. Now that you've cleaned most of the mold out, or you've just finished your weekly clean, or maybe even daily if you want to be super careful with your goggles, you can go and pat them dry with a towel, or you can just use some simple paper towel and just gently pat dry the lenses first. Don't have to be super thorough, because you don't want to damage them at all, and after this you want to kind of just leave them in the shade to dry out naturally, and you can put them back in your goggle box, which I'll get onto right now. So when I use my arena goggles on a day-to-day training basis or at race meets, one of the easiest ways I find to store them, and the safest way, is by using an arena goggle case, which you can get for around $10. I'll leave a link in the description to buy this, and it's really good. You've got a really nice band which you can store caps in, and then the main compartment for your goggles. So I'll show you right now how you can store them. So the easiest way to do it is just to curve the long straps here of the goggles carefully, because they won't break and they'll come straight back to size once you've take them out of the box, as you can see. And once you have them in the box, which is a bit hard to demonstrate with one hand, but once you have them in the box, you can just put your strap there and then close it, zip it up, and then you can just, you know, throw this in your bag, and they're really safe and secure in this nicely protected bag. And you can even put up to 3 caps in here, although it does make it a bit bulky. I use 2 because my last one, the zipper broke after about a year of day-to-day use, which is actually really durable considering it's only $10. So I use that one for caps only, because you can zip it up to around here where it broke around here. But for this case, I just zip it up and I keep it in my bag, and after every training session, I'll put my goggles back in here and they're all ready for the next day. Thank you guys so much for watching my Arena Cobra Ultra swipe goggle review. It was really fun filming this, and I've really enjoyed using these goggles over the past 2 years, and I highly recommend them to any aspiring swimmer, or just any swimmer in general. They're really comfortable, As long as you don't have super duper long eyelashes, these goggles will work really well for you. Or even if you do, you can just get the Arena Cobra Core goggles as well. You can check those out. But I'll leave a link in the description of where you can go buy these. The prices can range from about $60 to $80. I think I remember I got mine around $75. So sometimes there can be special deals on different websites online, or you can just go to an Arena store to purchase them. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please go smash the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you in the next review or the next video you watch.